Good morning. Happy Friday. This is Sean Waite with I am the what do we want to say? I am the grand poobah of the Arizona region for AGC Talks. And I want to welcome you guys because today you're in for a real treat. Brent Widman he's an elite sales coach. But when you say elite, a lot of people think, ooh, hoity-toity, all up there and stuff. But Brent is also one of the best people you will ever meet in your life. He has been a major impact on me, and he's a major impact on everybody I know. So first, before that, we are going to get into the great stuff, which is going to the next slide. So as I said, I am with AGC, and there we go. I represent the Phoenix in the Arizona region. We've got regions all over the place, and I'm going to introduce you to some of the people that help us with those regions. AGC Talks is what we're doing today, and this is a virtual way for you to stay informed and stay in front of people to network and to learn and to be motivated and to be engaged. And it's something that we find that really through the pandemic was something that helped our network stay together, help us to flourish in business. We were founded by Travis Sims. Travis has a plethora of knowledge and experience in the networking world, and he is just fantastic. He is our founder and our CEO. And what we're going to ask you to do is play along. If you're watching, either live or in replay, put what city, what state, what country you're in. Put if you're in live or if you're in replay. And I want this to be, when we come to the Q&A part, this is going to be an interactive thing. So please, let's do your comments. Let's have your input, and let's have your questions. If you're watching right now, you're watching probably from one of our Facebook groups, or perhaps on LinkedIn, or even on YouTube. We have got different groups for different things. We've got a public Facebook group, which anybody can join. We have over 2,000 people right now who are part of that group. We also have an exclusive group. So when you sign up and become part of AGC, you get to be part of that group and we're exchanging referrals, we're exchanging best practices, we're doing all these different things. We have daily networking activities in our groups that are going to help you to connect and build relationships, because that's what networking is all about, right? Building those relationships. Some of the other places you're going to see us on, like I said, Facebook, LinkedIn, Fire TV, Roku. So after this all goes live, we send it to the magic fairies who do their video stuff, right? Because it's beyond my pay grade, but that's the beautiful thing about having a network. They're going to take care of it. They're going to make it look all nice. They're going to make me look good. Brent already looks good, so he doesn't need that, but it makes it all nice so you can go see it and watch it wherever you want. Travis hosts a podcast, and the people he talks with are people you want to listen to, because they share the information that is going to help you build your networks, be more effective, have best practices. So these are the things you're going to want to tune in to his podcast to be able to listen to. Mailbox Power. Man, Bo Young, who is our sponsor today, represents Mailbox Power. And it's about the mailbox, not the inbox, right? How many emails do you get in a day? But how many actual things that you open your mailbox and get something where you actually want to open it and see it? That's not spam or not a bill or something like that. So the beautiful thing about Mailbox Power is you can have it done in one click. You can have it fully automated. You stop the digital overload. You do something that will mean so much more. Mailbox Power is the easiest way to wow people and really get their attention. So for more information, contact Bo Young at 320-249-1576 or go to betterappreciation.com. He's going to be hosting or sponsoring us today. If you would like to be a sponsor, then you also can contact us. Contact Travis at support@joinagc.com so you can sponsor this and have thousands of views over time to get your word out there. Get in front of the network, get in front of the people that you want to be in front of. And it's only $1 a day if you want to do this online, right? If you want to build your network for only $1 a day, I mean, it's, as we used to say, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Get out there, be in front, and now that we're opening up for in-person events, it's even better. So for only $1 a day, you can join AGC online, and we'll be able to talk more about some of the other options we have as well. I want to send a big thank you to my fellow AGC regional partners. We are growing by leaps and bounds. I remember when I was the last person on that slide deck right there, right? And since then, we've doubled how many places, how many events, how many different people that we are working with across the country, and we continue to grow. Now, I already kind of dropped a little bit over this last week about this man. I try not to get choked up because we all have those people in our lives. And Brent Widman found me at a time when, it was like, what's next? How do I go? What's next for me? And Brent, in either his superior wisdom or his just, okay, let's throw against the wall and see if it sticks for him. He brought me into something, and I will forever be grateful for him and what he has done for me and my family, what he's been able to pour into me where I can pour into others. And I hope you guys have people like that in your world as well. But I'm going to invite you to sit, listen. Brent's going to go over his stuff. We're going to talk at the end, and he's just going to pour into you as well. So I want to welcome Mr. Brent Widman.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Brent, tell us, I was going to read your bio, but you tell me a little bit about you.
Background. So, I'm a partner with Southwestern Consulting. I've been here almost 9 years. And kind of how Sean just talked about, and that's what I'll talk about here for about the next 15, 20 minutes. It's just how we can change our worlds if we decide to, really is what it comes down to. And my background is like a lot of people that are on here. I was floundering, didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go, all that type of stuff. And eventually you make a choice to find it, right? That type of thing. So I'm just from a small town of 400 people called Round Lake, Minnesota, little town down by Iowa, basically. And went to college, moved up to the Twin Cities. It was the big deal when I moved here. And I've lived in Minneapolis, or right outside of Minneapolis, Plymouth, for about 15 years now. I have 3 little ones. One of them's not so little. He's 15, 6, and then a newborn who's 8 months old.
And he's 15, and he's like, what, 7'1"?
He's taller than
a little one anymore.
Just put it that way. Yeah, so he's a big kid, I guess. So the whole gamut, which I don't know, just they're kind of they are the reason, I guess, put it that way. So it's kind of what life's all about, and it's what you make of it. So hopefully that helps. A little background. Go ahead, bud.
No, so I'm going to bring you up now. We're gonna see if we can make this slide deck work, which we've been working on for the last little bit here, and let's bring Brent on.
See if it works. If it doesn't, it's not a big deal either way. We'll figure it out. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do as Sean's bringing that up. Even if it doesn't work, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. And I want you to stay with me for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Honestly, 15 to 20 minutes, shut the email off, shut the phones off, or turn them away, text message and all that kind of stuff, and just stick with me. And hopefully it's going to be worth it. And I'm going to throw it out there too. And I know Sean will put my info out there. If anybody wants to have a conversation, anybody wants to talk about anything after this is done, I'm just going to go ahead and give you my phone number. Shoot me a text message, 507-382-6955. 7641. As Sean said, I mean, he's touched my life in many ways too. So I think that's the part of this where we have to find those people that we care about.
Hey, Brent, I'm going to step in for just a second, and it looks like I am going to need you to run that slideshow from your side if possible.
Let's just leave it. We're good. Let's just leave it.
Okay.
Yep.
All
So here's
right.
what I'm going to ask you.
Put you back on there, buddy.
Okay. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do, honestly, is close your eyes. Close your eyes for me. And I want you to think about your perfect beach vacation. And this could be you traveled to it. This could be just a lake that you go to with your family. This could be just somewhere that you go in the summer. And I want you to think about this for a second. So we had gone down to Lake City, Minnesota. It's called Lake Pepin. It's on the big part of the Mississippi River. And we went down there. It was with my girlfriend. And then my son was 6 at the time, 6 or 7, Jack was. And it was going to be a great weekend. And in town that weekend, there was a carnival. But the reason I want you to think about this weekend is think about the water and the jet skis and the people skiing, people fishing, kids building sandcastles. It's 80 degrees. There's this light breeze, and it's just going to be this fantastic weekend. And like I said, that weekend, there's a carnival in town. So we got there about 4 or 5 o'clock on a Friday evening. And I was kind of uneasy. And I wasn't sure why, but it was kind of building up. Like that stress level was building up a little bit. You can open your eyes now if you want. And the next morning, we all woke up, and there's probably 6, 7 of us. And we walked uptown. And uptown, there was one of those carnivals. And we've all been to those, I'm hoping, as kids. It's one of those things that we love to do, where you have the roller coasters and the bumper cars and the Ferris wheels and all this, the little carnies and all that kind of stuff. And we have the games as well. And as we're walking by, Jack sees it. And he sees the pitching game. And he starts pleading with me, Dad, please, can I play? Dad, come on, Dad, I really want to. And I remember standing there. And off in the distance, I saw this sign that said, 3 balls, $5. And I froze. Because in my pocket, I had $23. And if you count the house up for short sale, driving my brother's truck, 2000 Ford Ranger, couldn't afford it. $23 was way more than I had to my name. And she saw it, and she ended up paying for it. And we labored our way through the weekend. And I remember getting home that Sunday evening and walking into the house, and I put my stuff down. I didn't really do anything. I went downstairs to where my office is. And I just sat there. And I sat there numb. And I started thinking about all those things that I was taking away from Jack. Like I was sitting there thinking about Jack. Have you ever felt that? And I mean, really felt it. You might be wondering, how do you get there in the first place? Like what was I thinking? I mean, if you think about the 6 jobs in 8 years, wouldn't commit to anything. Like when it got hard, and maybe some of you are in this moment right now, I got out, consistently got out or tried to look for the next thing because, ooh, man, we don't want to get out of our comfort zone, or we don't want to get past that. And it was killing me. It was absolutely tearing me up inside. And now, guess what? 6 months into this, here we go again. I was already starting to look around because this was starting to get hard. And I look back at the memories that I was taking from Jack, the way I was, honestly, the way I was failing my son. And I took out a Post-it, just a little Post-it, little yellow one, and I wrote on it. And I wrote, how does it feel? How does it feel? Ask yourself, have you ever failed your kids? Have you ever failed your family? You ever failed those ones that are closest to you? You ever failed yourself? This was one of those moments, the ones that you look back on that really, they change your life. They truly change your life. And in that moment, I made a decision. I never wanted to feel that feeling again. Things are going to change. We have to change. I had to change. And I learned something along the way, which is crazy. I look back on it now, that most of us, take this in once, like hear me here for a second. Most of us only reach about 40% of what our potential is. And that can be any facet of your life. That can be work, that can be development, that can be exercise, that can be family, whatever it is. We're reaching 40%. What would happen? What would happen if you made the choice and said today, some random day in December, a random Friday, it doesn't have to be Monday, it doesn't have to be January 1st, and you thought, I am going to do something. I mean, I was blaming everyone and everything. If I had a damn dog, I would have blamed the dog in that moment. And my question is, can you relate to this? Like, does this hit home at all? And maybe this is where you're at right now, or maybe this is the thing we need to change. And the crazy part was the first answer, like really the first answer was staring me right in the face. I'm sitting there in my office and you see it a little different now, but there's this stack of books just right beside me, books about family and motivation and life and business. And if you're like me, let's be real with ourselves. Those stack of books look really good on the bookshelf, but do we actually read them? Have we read them? Because we all get busy. And my eye caught one book. Here's the crazy part. It caught one book. And it was actually part of the journey that I was already on. And one of my friends had actually wrote the book from where that Southwestern where I'm at. And right at the beginning of this book, it literally says, most of you will not finish this book. And be honest with yourself. How many of us have ever started a book and we didn't finish it? Thing is, this wasn't just a book. This was the metaphor for my life. It was starting something that I typically 100% of the time just didn't finish. But picking that book up and starting to read, and again, that book is just a metaphor for everything else, but it was this transformation. It was making it mean something, not just for me, but for Jack, for those people around me, like Sean alluded to. I would have never been lucky enough to meet him and the people that we meet if I wouldn't have picked up that damn book that day. And it opened my eyes. It showed me that there's more out there, that you can do more, that we get so comfortable. We get so comfortable in this complacency that we have. We spend time, whether it's I'm happy where I'm at, or I just want to be content, or I look at my bank accounts, or do I need to do more? And no, I realize no. This is an existence change. Like, this is the first step to changing the way we do things. And there's a couple lessons. When you start this path, when you give yourself, when you dig these heels in and you say, all right, this is it, you start learning something. Why do we have to wait for the pain? Because really, when it comes down to it, there's no change without pain. And sometimes we don't even change when there is pain. Like I said, we start blaming everybody else around us. And the book made me realize, and many books since then, that it's on us. It's not on everybody else. But why do we have to wait for that pain? Think about this. What do you have to change? Is it your mindset? Is it part of rebuilding yourself? Do we need to educate ourselves? Man, I had to do something differently because Jack. Well, life was comfortable. It really was. I remember, and here's another way that just reading a book can change. I don't know if you've ever read the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I read this a couple of years ago. And it was over the summer once. I was going to run a half marathon. And I didn't tell anybody. Well, I shouldn't say that. I told 3 people. I told Josh Branstead, I told AJ Kozlak, and I told Jenny, who's my wife. And the reason I didn't tell anybody is why so many other of us don't tell people we're going to do things, because we didn't want the accountability. We just didn't want it. Because if I didn't run it, because I didn't train for it, what's the difference? And I remember getting there, and I was kind of late for it. So I had to run for the start line, that kind of thing. And fast forward, I got about 3 miles in. And it was a hot day. It was 70 degrees. It was the 4th of July, red, white, and boom here in Minneapolis. And I'm 3 miles in. And my calf kind of pops. I pulled it, whatever. And I remember sitting there thinking, and if any of you walk, any of you run, I mean, if you've ever just gone for a walk, you know where I'm at. Over here is the grass, the nice soft grass, and it's going to feel good. And I could sit down there right now. And right here, as I'm running by the curb with my head down, thinking, what am I going to do? I still have 10 miles to go. I'm in pain. What the hell am I going to do? And I thought back to that book by David Goggins, because he was running an ultra marathon. And if you don't know what that is, that's 100 miles. And the first one he did was in Death Valley. So fast forward that as well. When he got done, he had his wife brought him home because he had already broken his foot. He was just on death's bed. And she put him in the tub and put ice all the way around him. And she said, David, I'm going to have to take you to the hospital. And he goes, no. And she said, we have to go. And again, he says, no. And he looks up at her. And he says, I've earned this pain. I'm going to enjoy it. I've earned this pain. I'm going to enjoy it. And here I am, running this half marathon of all things. And I'm thinking to myself, I've already earned the pain. Like, it's going to hurt anyway. When I get done, whether I sit down, whether I keep going, like, it's going to hurt. And that's the same thing in our life. That's the same thing in our business. Whether you're in mortgage, whether you're in real estate, whether you started your own business, whether you're an advisor, whatever you're in, whatever type of business you are in, that's why you're on this call and that's why you're networking. You're already in pain at times. Like, things are already hard. And you can think to yourself, I can either sit down on the grass and take the easy way out and make it easy and soft and I'm doing pretty good. Or I can keep going. I can bust through that. And I know things are going to change. Question is, what are you willing to do? Who are you willing to let in around you? Look around. Like, look around the room. Look around those people that you have. And go back to what Sean talked about. It's these people that we let in. I got asked once here, what's the hardest part about coming in? What's the hardest part about what you do? And my answer was ego. And I don't mean the ego of we're the best and we got it all figured out. I mean the ego of, are we letting people in around us? Are we letting them help us? Or are we pushing them away? Are we letting the books in? Are we letting the coaches, trainers, seminars, mentors, all these different things? Are we letting because it's staring us right in the face, but so many of us want to figure all these things out ourselves. And I decided I was done holding myself back. We can pursue what we all have in us. We can improve ourselves. Like, listen, this is the thing, that there's people behind you that want to lift you up, that want to push you, that want to guide you. Not quitting when you want to, not quitting on yourself. Because you know what happens? The shift starts to begin. And it may not happen overnight. I'll tell you that right now. You're probably thinking, why isn't it happening yet? Or maybe you're already along the way and you're not where you want to be. There's no finish line. We know that. But it starts with you. You got to start somewhere. And what does that shift mean for our lives? What does that shift mean for our success? But what does that shift mean to those people around us, those people that we get to impact? There's this ripple effect that starts to happen. And this is your family. This is, for me, it's your kids, your family, it's your parents, it's anybody and everybody around you, that it just starts to help out. The thing is, we can't do it alone. Sitting there thinking, I'm doing okay. Like, man, that's a dangerous way to think. What could you do? Because here's what happens. When you start to believe you can, I didn't know, you do the work. And guess what happens when you do the work? You get better. And if you get better, you start to believe more. And if you believe more, you become more convicted in what you're doing. And when you become more convicted, guess what? You get more confident. And if you get more confident, guess what starts happening? You want to keep going. That becomes your identity. That becomes who you are as a person. Like, there's a power in this. It changes your mindset. It changes what you are. It changes who you are. When people tell me that this is just who I am, I remember being that guy out walking my dog one day. making $50,000, $60,000 a year. I went so far as to get a damn MBA, thinking somebody's got to pay me now. And thinking that 50, 60, is this who I am? Is this who I'm going to be the rest of my life? I'm going to struggle to pay bills and get by. And in that moment, you have to make a decision. If you want to change your circumstances, we have to change ourselves. We have to let people in. When was the last time you picked up a book? When was the last time you reached out to a mentor? When was the last time when somebody said, hey, maybe we should do it this way, that you actually let them in? What are you putting into your mind? What are you putting into your heart? Question is, what's holding you back? We all know the answer. Because there's only one person holding you back, and that's you. We can talk about outside factors. We can all make excuses why we're not reaching our fullest potential, why we're not as successful as we want to be. We can all do those things, or hopefully we can get off this call and go, oh, you know what? I could do this. And again, it's not going to change overnight, but it becomes who you are. Start telling everyone, start telling anyone. Tell them those things that you want to accomplish. Tell them those things that you want to be. Tell them those things that you want to do. Because when you make that decision, you make that decision. And there's a power that comes with this. You faced it. I faced it. We all face it. Whatever that thing is for you, once you make the decision, now you know where to start. Don't let that hold you back. But the thing is, you just have to start. Honestly, I don't know how else to put it. We can all come up with reasons. We all have this, but that's where that accountability comes in. Once we start building ourselves, once we start looking for the accountability, guess what happens there? We start becoming disciplined. When you look at other people that are more disciplined or that are disciplined, all it is because they show up. There's nothing else that goes with it. We show up every day. And there's no way around it. You show up when it's hard. You show up when it's going well. You show up when it's easy. You show up when there's things that you want to do and things that you don't want to do. That is the fact of discipline. But what prevents us from that? We just don't feel like it. If you're waiting for something, stop waiting. Each and every one of us has the ability to do this. I'm going to leave you with that. I appreciate you letting me come on here, Sean. I really do. Thank you, man.
You know, first I'm gonna chime in. We got a bunch of people who join us from different areas. First, I want to apologize actually though, because StreamYard has informed me that there's a problem broadcasting to LinkedIn right now. So if you were joining us from LinkedIn and watching the replay now, it's a StreamYard issue, I guess, why I didn't go live. But thank you for joining us here and for watching. Want to give a shout out. Travis Sims joined us live from Cottage Grove. Travis is our CEO and founder. We got a Facebook user from Hastings, and it's not me, so I'm not, not trying to bulk up the numbers here, but I'm assuming who it might be. We have another one from Facebook user live from Maple Grove, and I think that may be Dustin Speed, who's one of our members and captains and a realtor with EXP. Maybe I think it's Dr. Linden from the chiropractor, my chiropractor, matter of fact, who I go to in Hastings, who's joining us. That's another awesome. Facebook user joining us live. Travis doing some shout outs. Great to see you here, Jackie. So I'm assuming that's my friend Jackie Martin, who's also a member. Let's see. What else do we got? Some comments. Excited for this. Now, I know you'll recognize this name. Fabio is joining us, who is Brent's social guy. So he's the hornblower for Mr. Widman on social media. He does a fantastic job. Make sure you guys are checking him out. Travis welcomes you to the stage. When you're talking about closing your eyes, I think you transported Travis away to the Hawaii beaches. So I know that's something he wants to do this winter. Hopefully his wife will want to as well. So
got to put sunscreen on your head, Travis, just so you know.
We're all there, right? We all can relate to that. So when you're talking, Brent, when you're talking about self-sabotage, right? One of our people watching, chimed in a little bit earlier about the self-sabotage of, hey, we can do this, but we don't, or we're going to, and there's what's the term that's used quite often in place of procrastination?
You asking me? Creative avoidance?
Creative avoidance, right? Of there's all these different things that we do instead of what we're supposed to do. And we self-sabotage. And that's something you and I have talked about, for me, many times. I'll be vulnerable here. I mean, we all do it. We all, at times, and it's just so easy to get stuck in that trap. One of my favorite things when I started working with Brent that he said is, if you're in a big pile of blank, right, work harder and dig faster to get the heck out of that, right? And so many of us sit there and go, oh, well, I just have a little shovel here. Go get a big shovel and get out of that pile as fast as you can. And I always related that to the self-sabotage thing of go find whatever you need and stop using just a little shovel because that's what you think you can only use. Just go out there and do it. Another one of our people chimed in about when you're talking about the books. My books used to get so dusty, right? Like you said, it looks great in the background, but how many of them have actually been read? And I can swear, hand on the Bible, Brent's given me a couple of great books, including The Go-Giver and I believe it's The Carpenter, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I read them. I've read them a couple times now. And David Goggins, man, his book is fantastic, especially if you listen to it when he reads it, the audio book. Fantastic. Travis chimed in. I have a stack of books I call my stack of shame. Ones I haven't got to yet. Come on, Travis. You got plenty of time to read right now. So,
oh my God, that's funny. I love it.
He was talking about when you're talking about accountability, right? You only shared it with the three people about it. I always used to talk to people about there's go up goals and give up goals. Go up goals, you only share with a few people because, you want them they're going to hold you accountable. Give up goals, like if you're going to lose weight or you're going to, give up smoking or eating fast food, you share with a bunch of people because they will more than love. They love to be able to point out when you mess up, right? Because they're going to hold you accountable. With your goals, when you're sharing, Brent, how do you classify who you're going to share with?
Oh, that's a big question. People above you, people below you, and people you care about. I shouldn't say below you, you know what I mean.
Yep.
I think so many of us leaders don't share we don't make ourselves human and humble. So we don't share with those people that maybe we hired or recruited or whatever it is that are on our team. We need to share with them too, because they're going to hold you accountable as well. Because really that's why you're doing it, is for them. Because you can't, it's kind of what we talked about, right? You can't, if you're not doing it, how are you going to ask them to do it? So it's the people that are around you and then the people above you to ask for that accountability. And that's one of those things as well. When you share your goals, ask for help, ask for accountability. Don't just share it with them. And then the people you care about, I've gone so far as to, and I've talked about this, Sean, you know this, put them in the shower, right? You got to laminate them first, but put them on your desk, put them on the fridge. That way, those people that care about you most, they know why you're doing it and that you're doing it for a reason for them too. So, yeah.
Love it, man. Well, Travis also, this talk is perfect timing as we set goals and changes going to a new year. And it's totally true. And one of the things I know, Brent, we've talked many a times about, you've talked with clients and other high level people, is the other thing is you don't have to wait to the beginning of the year, right? Start Friday, today, start Monday. I started doing 75 hard again. When I finished that, but I started on September 6th, because I was like, no, I'm going to start. I'm not going to wait until October. Just start. And I think, I totally understand what Travis is saying. I want to even emphasize more is don't wait till the new year. Just get it going now. So, one of the other things that I wrote down is that you said is doing okay is dangerous. It is. You get in that comfort zone. We've all been there, right? And it's I'm getting by. And unless you What is one or two things that when you work with clients that you help them get out of that doing okay mindset?
One of the things, and it depends on where you're at, right? That type of thing. Because a lot of us look at our bank account. And if we can pay our bills and we're pretty happy, we can go out to eat, we can do that type of thing. That starts to mess with our minds. Like, I'm good. One of the things I help them with is it's to stop looking at the damn bank account, honestly, and look at the goals. Everything else will come with that. And it's not always about money and all that kind of stuff. We know there's really 2, maybe 3 things that we really want. We want to make more money because that provides us freedom, right? In essence. And we want more time. Time also to do the things that we want to do. So what does it mean to have both? And that's one of the biggest things that we need to look at is how do we do that? How do we strive for both of those? And when you're looking at your goals, I think there's goals. Stay with me here. And I think there's commitments. Goals are something I want to achieve. I want to do. A commitment is I'm going to do it. I might have to work harder. I might have to make more phone calls. I might have to get in front of more people. I might have to work longer hours at times, but that is a commitment.
That is so powerful and so huge. I mean, that's where you're known as in Southwestern is the discipline guy, right? I mean, the discipline, just do it. I mean, but that's because you made that commitment.
It's a commitment.
And you made it non-negotiable from what I understand, right? I mean, that's just how it is.
And that was just a choice is all it was. It wasn't, that's why I sit here and go, when people tell me they can, man, I've been broke, I've been hurting, I've been struggling, I've been a single dad, all that kind of stuff. We've all been there. We all have stuff. Are you making the commitment to yourself and those people around you? You know,
we all have stuff and that's okay. Right.
Yeah. There you go.
Let's go on. Travis chimed in. If you want to change your circumstances, I think you're getting quoted here. If you want to change your circumstances, you have to be willing to change yourself, by Brent Widman. Dead on, right? You're the only one that can really do it. You can get help. You can have people around you, but man, it comes down to you have to do it. Another Facebook user chimed in. Yes, sir. You're hitting it dead on. 100%. 80% of success is just showing up, right? We've talked about that many times. Just picking up the phone and get going. You know, if you don't have any money, if you don't have any, sales, if you don't have any network connections, pick up the phone and just start making it happen. So, Melanie Holscher, amazing message, Brent. Melanie was just on last month and also dropped a great message. Melanie is fantastic.
Her story.
Great job, Sean, and great talk, Brent. Thank you. Question, Brent, what are your daily habits that keep you on track to improve and hit your goals? So I know one of them is just in the morning, you wake up and you unplug from the nuclear reactor that powers you, right? And then you just go because you're a robot. You don't have bad thoughts or I want to lay in bed anymore.
I mean, start from the morning. I get up at 5:10 every morning. Like, it's non-negotiable. I don't lay there. I don't push snooze. And it's like, as soon as that goes off, I get up. Sometimes before, right? And it's that habit. It's the pattern of doing what you do every day. And it's not, like you said, not being a robot, not all those types of stuff, but it's creating these daily habits, like even going for a run. It's not something that I have to think about anymore. It's just part of who you are. Travis, when you do these things, it becomes your identity. It becomes who you are as a person. Like knowing that you want to hit your goals and things you want to achieve in life, that these little incremental things lead up to really big things. And that's probably the hardest thing. If you see the sign behind me, one of my words for the year that I did last year at the beginning of the year or end of last year into this year is I came up with 2 words, and one of them was focus. So I literally had to hang a sign up to keep me focused. And the other one was efficiency. Because we get pulled off track so many times, or it goes back to Sean's comment about creative avoidance. That's what it is. It's creating the habit of reading. It's creating the habit of doing phone calls when you don't feel like it. It's creating a habit of it's not the money or everything that comes with it. It's just the goal that you want to hit, and then everything comes with it. So
And we all have habits, right? I mean, everything's a habit. It's just whether it serves us or doesn't.
Is it good? We can create good habits. We can create bad habits. That's the thing. But it's there's something for you. When you can recognize.
Hold on, guys. When he does that, when he leans back and it comes at you, listen and take flipping notes. All right, I'm telling you, I know.
If you can recognize when you're making excuses, that one thing will change your world. I promise you that. We all make excuses about stuff. And if you can recognize it in that moment when you're doing it and you stop and do it anyway, I will promise you that is one of the, goes back, maybe that's the answer to Travis's question right there that improved my habits. No more excuses about anything. And I'm talking about business. I'm talking about dialing. I'm talking about referrals. I'm talking about running. I'm talking about working out, blah, blah, all those things. Recognize it and it will change your world. It's crazy.
Travis saying The Go Giver, one of his favorite books. Favorites. Just started reading Leading with the Heart by Duke's Coach K. Highly recommend. I think that's Jackie. And I tell clients to start again at the next meal, not the next day, week, or year. Pause, focus, and be intentional about your choices. Feeds right back into what you're saying. Another one we've got here is, Brent, what are your thoughts about saying yes to opportunities that don't align with your goals? Oh, I know he's going to unload on this one.
Right, you know the answer to this question, right? Everything you say yes to, you say no to something else. That's the efficiency part of mine, is I was letting too many things on my calendar because it felt good. And I'm not saying you have to be, well, I am. Sometimes you have to be selfish, and it's okay. Give yourself permission to be selfish at times, because your goals and the things that you align with are important to you, but you have to be convicted in them. And if you can put an emotional attachment around the things that you want to achieve, that's where the commitment comes in. That's where things start to change. And that's where at times I had to start saying no to people that wanted to get on my calendar because it wasn't
aligned.
Bad. What?
It wasn't aligned with your overall goal.
It wasn't aligned with what, and it wasn't me. It was like for my family and all those people around me.
The bigger picture.
Yeah. If I'm letting people on that aren't Sean Wade, I'm not spending time with him. Right? That type of stuff. So that's where you got to balance your priority of what's important to you. And that's part of the creative avoidance, that it's easy to let people on because then you feel good.
Another one, self-awareness, definitely, right? Knowing when you're making those excuses and making, and being aware of it and going, okay, and stopping yourself 5 seconds into it instead of you might have wasted a couple seconds on it. Oh, shoot, that's an excuse. Get back on track. So, well, we are going to finish up here because we're getting into that time. Brent, thank you so much for being you. And, it's interesting because having known Brent now for 4 years, and when I first started working with him, I knew him as Brent. And then over the last couple of years, as I saw him on stages and people like, ooh, that's Brent Widman. Ooh, right. And he's the king of discipline. He's the just do it guy. He's all these things, right? And we hold people up to such high things. And then you get to realize they're a real person and they have their struggles, and we all have our struggles at different levels. And it's just, a lot of people here, know Travis, our CEO, and getting to know him. And he's not just Travis, fantastic, demanding, commanding a stage. He's also Travis, who's a great guy and has his things, and we all have our things. But just knowing Brent and knowing him as a real person, because we caricature a lot of times people above us, and how are we, we could never get there. I could never be this, da, da, da. But I think one of the biggest things Brent opened up in my eyes is that, that's BS, right? We all have struggles. You got to decide, and coming back around is make the commitment, not just, hey, I'd like to, but this is just how it is now. You don't negotiate every morning whether you're going to brush your teeth or not, right? You just do it. You just get up at 5:10, you go, and over the last year, I've had a brand new baby and all these are things that could get in the way, and yet you still make stuff happen. So, any parting words for everybody, man?
No, what you just hit there was spot on. I appreciate it for letting me come on. I
appreciate the heck out of you, and I look forward to having opened up to the possibilities of people working with you and seeing you and being able to grow from you. I'm going to be putting in the notes your contact information, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just make sure if you're contacting him and you want to get on his calendar, right? He'll say no if it's not going to work for So make sure that, and I say that in seriousness but joking, because Brent is one of the most open and helping people out there in the whole world, and he pours into so many people, and he does such great things. So I know, Jenny and Jack and Elle and husband probably doesn't realize yet, but he will. What a great guy you are, man. So thank you.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it so much.
All right. So we are going to go back now to the slideshow. And we just had a great Q&A with Brent. Here's where the different spots where you'll be able to find AGC talks and now even live broadcast events, live events, I should say. Minnesota, Indiana, Iowa, California, Arizona, Missouri. We're going to these different places, and I am going to try to figure out how to turn off the comments here, because that's not. There we go. So these are the different places that we are building, and we're always looking to grow. So if you know somebody in different areas, talk to Travis, talk to one of us, reach out, because we want to grow our influence, we want to grow our impact, and we want to grow your network, because that's what it comes down to. Your network is your net worth. Our sponsor, Gandhi Wong and IT Global. I mean, you can't imagine the stuff that goes on behind the scenes of running a large organization when it comes to IT and all these things. Gandhi Wong and his people make it easy, right? You can hand off things to him. He just makes it easy. He's one of the, I can't talk enough about him. So check him out. We want you to be part of the community. That's why we do this. All right. We don't just do this to hear ourselves pontificate and listen to how great we are. We want you to learn best practices, make connections, be educated, be motivated, be inspired, right? Because those are the things that sometimes we need. Like Zig Ziglar says, and I'm going to butcher the quote here, but basically Zig Ziglar said, people say motivation doesn't last. Well, either does bathing. That's why we recommend it every day, right? So we want you to be part of this community, part of our Facebook groups, and help grow your business, your skills, and your network. And guess what? It's only $1 a day, right? To be in our network, to be making connections, only $1 a day. With that, I'm going to bid you adieu, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. And here we go.